So this is going to be the build of the fourth order bandpass wall I had for 415-inch Resilient Sounds Gold Series subs. It was in a GMC Canyon. I had 2 sheets of 3/4 birch. I decided to build the chambers so that the subs were firing to the inside. Those strange shapes on the outer edge there, that's where the sealed section was. So you can see where the that diamond port's what I'd started off with for the big ported section. Out of the builds I've made for those subs, this is probably my favorite one. They seem to react better in that fourth order bandpass than they did in the sixth orders that I've built in the other 2 vehicles. But anyway, the subs, they're as you can see, they were firing into the ported chamber. That was after it was put together inside the truck. I ended up going back later and cutting that center section back out and putting a new loading wall in it. Those basketballs, I used those to brace the roof. It was a terrible idea, but it worked for probably about a week. That's the bolts where I bolted it to the back of the cab. And my batteries, I mounted those inside the cab and put the amps directly above them. Didn't have a lot of room inside of that vehicle. That was a SMD, one of the larger fuse blocks. That was the first version, and that one actually melted as soon as I put the Banda 7K on it. But they were very good about giving me a warranty repair on it, and they even upgraded it to, I guess, what was the more durable version after they realized they had an issue. So no complaints with that fuse block after the fact. I'm still running it in the Yukon now. I ended up I bought a Apex alternator to go to go on that Canyon. It was a decent alternator. It's a good hairpin. There's the amplifiers that I was running, the 2 150.1s. I ended up doubling my power with that 7K. And you can see there's the terminals for the subs coming out of the box. It was, again, that's probably my more favorite box design that I've had in my builds so far. Another shot under the hood. That is the terminal that melted. And then before they replaced the block for me, that's a large piece of copper. I went and drilled and tapped it out, and that was going to be my fuse block. I think in the Canyon actually ended up being the fuse block that I'd made. So after I'd got that made, I made a smaller one that was my ground block. You can see that it's sitting there as well. So the large one, you can see where all my positives came through on it. It worked great for the time being. That one's now actually the ground block in my Yukon, and I gave that small block away to my friend Donnie, but it worked great at the time. That was the SMD block that had melted. I guess that was the first version of them when they first came out. So they warranty repaired it. Hardly any questions at all about it. This was the box after I painted everything. Got the amps mounted up. My extra batteries, I ended up buying 3 more Full Rivers. I mounted them in the bed in a box. Nothing real special, kind of ugly, but it worked really well. All the little crimped 4/0 terminals that I'd made. That's the Canyon that it was in. But that's the replacement fuse block that Steve Meade sent me. That one is still being used in the Yukon at the moment. It's been in 3 builds now since then, and it works great. That was when I cut the center section of that loading wall out. Removed all of it. I didn't have enough airflow for what I wanted, so I was hoping that after redoing the loading wall, I'd just get a little more turbulence in the air. I do not remember what my tuning was on any of this, or the box size for that build, but I used pretty much what space I had in that vehicle. I ended up having the port extend out of the box just a little bit. But that's the extent of what I had for this Canyon build.